All right, I'd like to welcome y'all to our Fountain Lake School District February meeting. We'll start off with a pledge and prayer. We all stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight. Just thank you, Lord, for just your many blessings. We just ask you to just be with the board, Lord, as we try to make the best decisions for our staff, our community, our students. We just ask you to guide and protect us, put a hedge of protection around our district. In Jesus' name, amen. Public comment. No public comment. Start off with our monthly build report. That's going to be elementary.
So what is going great in our building? So I just want to brag on our teachers. Got a couple pictures there of that's our kindergarten team actually that they really use their PLC time, which occurs on Wednesdays at our early release, and they have used PLC time during their daily planning time with their team, and they really use that data to drive their instruction. So they're looking at different Atlas data, different classroom assessment data to make adjustments to their instruction and what small groups of the students that they need to be working with. So they do a great job of that. That's going really well. They have done a phenomenal job this year communicating with our families on Parent Square. So they use that to share pictures, share their weekly newsletters, parent-teacher conference sign-up sheets, field trip sign-up sheets, volunteer sign-ups, all of that. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. They're doing a great job there. And just want to brag on our kids. We have great kids here at Fountain Lake. We have very respectful kids. They're kind to other people. They use good manners, and it's just a really great thing too when they go other places that other schools or different field trips or different places they go. They're always bragging on what good kids we have at Fountain Lake. So, and our next slide is what we're working on. So we started a new DEAR time, which is drop everything and read time. Every morning, so as soon as students come in from car riders or buses at 7:45 to 8, that's a quiet 15-minute time that everybody's reading, even kindergartners. So they have individual browsing boxes or books that they have on their levels that they're reading. We started that when we came back in January. Just the parents and teachers are also just really committed to reading, not only at school but at home. So our teachers are sending home different things for them to read during the week, and just, we don't really normally have a homework because we want kids to really focus on family time when they get home in the afternoon, but we are encouraging 15 to 20 minutes of reading nightly when they get home, and so the teachers are helping by sending stuff home for that to take place. So that partnership's going well. And you know, just what we're nonstop doing really is just actively monitoring that student progress, mastering those standards, and performance on Atlas assessments, because each grade level takes 3 assessments each year. We take our one in the fall when they first get to school. We're taking an interim right now in January, and then we'll take our summative at the end of the year. So just watching their progress and making sure we're doing all we can during instruction to meet those kids' needs. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Good job. Any questions?
I don't have questions, but I did get a chance last week, I guess, maybe it was last week, to log on to your Hangout that you do, and that is so precious. So they do this thing once a week, or how often?
Every Friday morning.
Every Friday morning, where they recognize kids for doing different things, either being caught doing something good, or Students of the Month, or whatever it may be, and all of the little kids sit on like their little carpet, and they get to watch their peers get recognized, and I thought it was really neat.
It takes place in my office.
No, I mean, where do you find it at? Online?
I got an invitation because there was
You were
somebody
watching
being
James.
recognized that I knew.
I can add you to the calendar invite. If I can add the board to it if they want to watch it. It's every Friday morning. It lasts about 5 to 10
It's
minutes.
super quick, but I just thought it was really nice to be able to see kids seeing their peers doing good, you know, and maybe encouraging everybody to try to, you know, do great things around the school. And get?
Is it on like YouTube or?
It's a Google
No.
Meet.
Google?
So I'll add you to the calendar invite, and then if you want to join, you can hop on. it.
Sorry, I didn't know if that was a can of worms.
Yeah,
I was
sure,
opening up,
yeah.
But I just thought it was
But that
really
goes
neat.
out to the parents and stuff.
It does. Google Meet only allows you to have 100 people join. So back when COVID was, I let everybody join, and then that kind of went away. You can't have like the whole elementary parents, but anybody that's on the Meet for that week, like students of the month or anybody being recognized, the teachers send out the link to the parents so they can watch it. Yeah. But I can add you guys, and if y'all ever want to hop on and watch it, you're more than welcome to.
What's the, like last year, we used to get those, was staff attendance still been, you used to give that and it was always really good. Is that still?
Yeah, this month ours was at 95%.
Okay.
Yeah, our staff attendance this year has been very good, actually.
That was on the January, the monthly report.
It is,
I'll keep sending those out, so I'll do it in February. I'll give that February board update, and that gives you all that information.
Yeah, I think everybody is right around that time.
Mhm.
All right, our next item is our consent agenda. Does anybody got any questions about that? Everybody's had time to look over that? So we'll consider that approved by unanimous consent. Items for consideration. Mark, if you want to read those, and then we'll let.
We still got some other stuff above that? Oh, the whole thing was consent?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve, what's FY stand? Fiscal. Motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 audit. Yes.
First of all, thank you. My name's Kyle Foster. I'm the audit manager for EGP. Thank you for allowing us to do your audit again this year. I want to thank Tanya and Dr. Landry, but everyone that participates. You're a big help. We couldn't do it without you. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is I think it's on like the second page, there's a letter that I've just kind of slid in there that's not really in the bind. That is the, what we call governance letter. That is specifically to the board. It's kind of the culmination of everything I'm going to go over, but it's telling you what we found or that we didn't find anything in this case. That you know, there were no problems, etc. It's just our letter directly to you. As far as the audit is concerned, audit packet, the first part, which I believe is on the slide there, it's hard for me to see that far, but is the independent auditor's report. I do want to point out there's two opinions here. There's an unmodified and an adverse. The adverse opinion, which is the lower paragraph, normally you don't want to see that. Normally anything that says adverse is bad, but what we're doing is we audited the school district based on the regulatory basis. And that is what is getting the unmodified opinion based off of Arkansas state law, what is required of the school district based off of that. The adverse opinion is based off of generally accepted accounting principles, which is what 99% of our other audits are based on. So it's just specifying that this was a regulatory audit and not a GAAP audit, as we call it. So the adverse part doesn't necessarily mean anything bad for the school district. It's just a clarification. The rest of it, the rest of the few pages just goes over management's responsibilities, our responsibilities, the fact that we had some supplementary information, but the important parts to us and to you are those opinions, which are clean. On page 4, which is the balance sheet there, balance sheet regulatory basis, I just kind of like to go over, because we have 1 year here, I like to go over changes from last year. And what I would point out is that on the general column, the general fund, cash went up by about $500,000. I think it was 2.9 last year. And that is down below to balance the balance sheet. That is split almost equally between restricted and unassigned. But I'll explain where that cash came from in just a moment. Going on over to special revenue, that cash went down by about 150. And I think that is mostly in accounts payable. The difference that offsets cash is mostly in accounts payable. Other aggregate, cash went up by 1.7 million. That was a large difference. And all of that is in the assigned column of the fund balance. Fiduciary, almost identical to last year. Now, as far as those changes are concerned, if we go to the next page, on page 5, statement of revenue expenditures and changes in fund balance, or you can call it the income statement if you want to. That's the easiest way. Those changes, if you look down towards the very bottom, it says excess of revenue and other sources, over or under expenditures. That 536 in the general fund, last year it was around 36, so there's your 500,000. Special revenue is a negative 154, but last year it was, say, a negative 30, I'm approximating, but that's your difference. Now, where some of those differences come from in the general fund is mainly property taxes. Your property taxes went in the general fund, you got an extra 900,000. State assistance, you got an extra 200,000. And then there's some smaller variances in there that gets to a net income change before transfers of 1.3 million. It's kind of the same thing with special revenue. Federal assistance, I believe, went down by 1.2 million, but you did a good job with your expenses and controlling them to making them lower to equal the lower assistance. And that's why your special revenue net income stayed in line with what it was last year. Moving on to the next page, I believe that is page 6. This is the same information, but it's compared against your budget. We'll start with the general fund. And the middle column is showing the same thing for the general fund that was on the last page, but it's comparing it to the budget. And you'll see that you got $1 million more in total revenue than you had budgeted for. And you actually did your actual expenditures were $1.8 million better. Meaning you spent that much less than you had budgeted for. So while the bottom line shows that you're a negative 188 compared to budget, you were a negative 2-point-something million compared to budget last year. This is a dramatic increase, for the general fund. On the next page, which is the special revenue, it's the same thing. The middle column is the same as it was, but we're looking at budget. And down there on the third column, down to the very bottom, it shows 615,000. That's how much you beat budget on the special revenue. And it's basically a combination of, you got $214,000 of revenue, more than you budgeted for, and you controlled expenses by about $400,000 better than you budgeted for. So the extra revenue plus the lower expenses accounts for your variance, positive variance to budget of $615,000. So, quickly said, that's all good. You've got more cash. Your net income is better than it was last year. It's good compared to budget. So everything looks good. These next few pages are notes that we're required to put in by our standards. And as you scroll appropriately, let's see, page 7, 8, 9, these are all definitions. Basically, note 1 tells about the organization. Tells some facts, about like maybe your capitalization policy or your threshold, for capitalizing something. But note 1 is a lot of facts. Note 2 talks about your cash deposits, And what we normally do is list anything that is at risk. And at risk in a typical company is any account that the balance is over $250,000, because $250,000 is FDIC insured. In your case, everything's collateralized. So even though you do have bank accounts that exceed that, it's collateralized, so you have no money at risk. And that's what note 2 is saying. Note 4 is very simple. It just takes you from your debt when I was here last year, shows the payment, your new balance this year. And then the chart down there says year ended and lists all those years. That tells what your payments, what your debt service will be each year if held to maturity and paid out as it would be. This is how it would go. Note 5 tells that the interfund transfers, which is on the income statement, it's coming out of the general fund going into the special revenue fund, and it just shows that it's for capital projects. Note 6 details your fund balance, because on the balance sheet it says assigned, unassigned, restricted, that kind of stuff, but this tells you the details of what's in it. And you can see the bigger numbers are debt service, your child nutrition program, and capital projects. After that, we get to the supplementary information on page 16, and this is something that you're probably very familiar with, Schedule of Expenditures and Federal Awards. We call it CEPA for short. But this lists your big programs, which are child nutrition and Department of Education, and it tells your expenditures that you've had for the year from this federal money awarded. And that's just a requirement to be put in there. It doesn't change how you did, whether you made or lost money. It's just a requirement to show that. The notes are behind that, again, which is just required regulatory language. And then after that, I'll bore you with a lot of letters. The first one is Independent Auditor's Report on Internal Control. It talks about a material weakness, what a material weakness is, a significant deficiency, what a significant deficiency is, and if we found any. And I would go through the definitions of what each one are, except we didn't find any. Everything's good. Then the next report is the same thing, except it's on your major programs, on your actual single audit things that, child nutrition, etc. And that goes through basically the same letter, except it's required by government auditing standards because it's government money, and that just says we didn't find anything either. And then the next thing is auditor's report on compliance. And this is state required. This is all of the things that the state requires that we look at when we're looking at these awards, and to see if there are any non-compliance. And the next few pages show that we didn't find anything with that either. Page 25, schedule of findings and questions and costs, which is where we would show if we found anything that wasn't big money that wasn't being used properly or anything like that. This is where that would show up, and this shows that we have an unmodified opinion, no material weaknesses, no non-compliance, etc. And then the last few pages are just where the findings would be if we had any, which we don't. So getting back to that letter that was insert, that is the last thing that we do after we complete this audit, is prepare that letter to you, the board, summarizing this, in this case saying that we found no problems. if we found something, it would be in that letter. But everything was good. Any questions?
Yeah, you got summary of auditors' results, the GAAP. You said the adverse was bad, but there's a cross mark on adverse over here.
It's typically bad. Meaning adverse is a negative word. There's a negative connotation with
Right.
that. But in this particular audit, the GAAP, which stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, that's not what this audit is based on. This audit is based off the laws of the state of Arkansas and how schools are supposed to run. So the unmodified opinion right above that is the clean or good opinion based off the regulatory requirements. The adverse would be negative if it applied to you, but it doesn't. It's just specifying how we audited. So that no one, the point being that the reader can't interpret it as a GAAP audit, to use an acronym. GAAP is what we call that, and we don't want the user to interpret it as a GAAP audit because it's not, it's a regulatory audit. So that's the reason for the two opinions.
Okay. Everybody good?
All right, so if there's no questions on that. Motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 audit. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to approve the.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Motion to approve the 2026-27 salary proposal. All right, go ahead and take over this. I got you. Okay, you got it. It's at the end of it.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
That was quick. We thought he had it.
Yeah, go ahead and hit the next slide. Kind of talking about explanation when I first took over here. You know, one of my first meeting with the staff and in my interview, I talked about the gap between our salaries and other school districts in the county. So that's my number one concern, is trying to keep pushing our salaries up and closing that gap with other schools. The reason why I want to do that is I want to keep our best employees and I want to attract the best employees here to Fountain Lake. You know, just kind of do my philosophy on budgeting, and that's kind of goes along with what this audit says with the excess money. We budget on 90%. That leaves about 8% of money that we don't even put in the budget, and that goes into the banking account. And that's kind of where you saw some of that excess money there. Also, I feel we have to follow the state staffing model, which allows for excess money. The state puts out a model on this is how many teachers you need for this many kids, so we follow those to the T, stay within the state standards. And we also overestimate expenditures and underestimate revenue, allows us to have excess money. And this right here will all be allowed. This will allow us to pay for this proposal. Okay. So if we really look into it, following the state staffing model, which allows excess money, Fountain Lake will be absorbing 4 certified positions. We've looked at those positions that are either retiring or resigning, going to another district or whatever. We have 4 that we will be absorbing. Looking at the numbers, we are well within state guidelines on all of our when we absorb these four spots. And if you start talking about certified staff positions, we kind of do an average of $75,000 per staff. That includes salary and benefits. So multiply 75 times 4, so we'll have a total savings of $300,000 on this right here. Okay, we'll look at the classified salary proposal. I'm proposing a 2% raise to the base of a classified salary schedule, which would cost us $126,940. This will include bus drivers. Last year, When we worked on the salary proposal, we did not include bus drivers, but this year we're gonna include our bus drivers. Our certified 2% raise of the base would be $259,380 and includes administrator schedules too. So what I'm doing, this salary proposal is going to encompass every staff member that's here for on 5-9. All right, total cost of the 2% increase, both certified and classified. If you look at the classified, you take that $126,940 and your certified is $259,380. Total cost would be $386,320. The less step increase means that's money we're already going to be paying out, even if we didn't do a 2%. This will take care of all of our steps. So you subtract that 122,300, and then the total salary with fringe increase is $264,020. And by absorbing those 4 positions, it's paid for with the $300,000.
So you're saving 36 grand from doing.
So, quick question, you said this now includes the bus drivers. Is there anybody that does exclude?
No. Everyone that is, has a contract with that works for Fountain Lake School District will be included in this 2%.
Are you at liberty to share what the 4 positions are?
There will be some that are retiring.
Right, specifically an English teacher, a math teacher. Is it all included in the ones today? Okay.
And then we had 2 teachers that resigned at Christmas.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be.
Okay, I got you.
So we're still gonna have some hiring to do.
Oh, yes, yes. In fact, we'll be opening some positions tomorrow morning.
Anybody have any more questions? No, I think it's good. I think that's one of the things you mentioned when you first got here was, working on getting good people and keeping the good people and pay them and, even though I say this loosely, we'll never be able to pay them what they're worth because, it's just unfeasible, but they do a great job in educating our kids and hopefully, we keep them and gather more. So motion to approve the 2026 to 2027 salary proposal. All in favor say aye. Aye. None opposed. Board member comment. I'd like to say just one thing that sticks out is I know we were off for 5 days or 6 days or 6 1/3, however you want to look at it. We were out of here and, but there was a lot of people that were still here, our maintenance guys, and there was many people up here that were, I'd drive by and they're beating ice and I don't know if they tried torching any, but I know some people that were torching ice, but them guys worked, I'm sure a lot of hours on trying to get the campus cleaned up, and if they wouldn't, I don't think we'd still be, there's some places.
Driving roads even, just make sure the bus get through.
Yeah, and, I know it is a hardship on parents when we're not in school, but, Darren, he keeps us updated every morning. Hey, I'm headed out to drive the roads, and, I know Hayden was probably with him, and Cody was with him, but, making sure that our buses can get there safe, and, of course, a lot of us were out still driving, had to go to work, but that doesn't mean the buses they couldn't have got down my road until a couple of days later anyway. So I just appreciate y'all's hard work, and I know y'all work tirelessly on getting the ice away, and I know we did have a little bit of damage. Can you elaborate to some of the stuff that we had? Or
Hayden has a list of it.
Yeah, so we're still actively working on it all. One good thing that's coming through, I know Mr. Landry shared an email with me from Bo Robertson. Bo Robertson working with FEMA. trying to at least address our insurance premium or the deductible. Before our deductible was around like a $3,500 deductible, it increased up to $15,500 a few years back, so we're well above that deductible threshold. Getting pictures for him for our insurance company and sharing that with FEMA and other Rowan County folks to start working that process. But yes, a lot of gutter damage is the main thing. We're probably upwards of $30,000 just in gutters. Of course, you saw the precast on the county gym that had fallen off. Working with Hill and Cox on that. Should have that repaired hopefully late next week. And yeah, really just gutters. If you get a lot of folks in the community talking, I told our admin team this morning, I've had a few hit me up, why don't we do ice guards, on our roofs? To my knowledge, the only building that was spec for ice guards like that was the middle school. And just for saving money on not getting structural engineers out here and, do our roofs meet structural integrity for ice guards and holding all that weight on the roofs, I say no. We'll just go back and use our insurance to put back these gutters that are used. And there are some areas where we'll be looking at where maybe we don't put a gutter around the entire building, but just in the exits, entrances where needed. So yeah, we're estimating between $30,000 and $45,000 for the
And I know
damage.
you had some people up here that were doing some bracing and stuff like that,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
good. But yeah, I just appreciate them guys working on that, because I know it would have been days later, with that, some people had 4 or 5 inches of ice. Who else, Dan? All right, our next one is our super company.
My comment, a couple
Nope,
comments.
it's all good.
All right, first off, I echo that. I want to thank our team, especially, Dylan, Cody, Hayden. We're out driving, just checking roads all the time, and our whole admin team, because when you decide to go a late start in the morning, that throws off a lot of things. Our team came together, made a great plan, and it was a flawless entrance back into school. I think they did a great job, and thank you for everything y'all did for that, and I appreciate y'all. The second thing, I kind of want to talk about the 6 days that we missed and why, I've had questions on why we can't, why we don't have to make these up, or do we have to make them up? So I was going to let Mr. Campbell kind of explain that, because he deals with our school calendar. Let him talk about that.
So this is the calendar that you approved last year, and we talked with you last year about it being an alternative calendar. And right there in the center down at the bottom, you see the requirements for an alternative calendar is 1,068 hours plus 30 makeup hours. And then if you look down at the very bottom, you see that we average 6 hours and 13 minutes per day. And that's because, I say average because Wednesday is an hour shorter. So that's where we come up with that 613. So then you see the number of instructional days per student. You go down to the very bottom and you see that we had 1,106.59 hours. So that's the 30 hours of makeup, and we had 8.59 hours beyond the 5 days. So that's what cleared us for the 6th day and cleared us for the 2 hours late start. So at this point, we don't have any extra hours. So if we get another snowstorm, it'll be another story altogether. But at this point, the calendar that you all approved last year had us with enough time to not have to make up 6.59 days. Make sense?
Now, does the staff have to make up these hours?
The classified staff who are hourly employees, we're working with them to cover that time. And it will be taken care of.
And the certified does not have to make it up?
Certified doesn't, they're not hourly employees.
I was
Labor-
hoping for an answer of nobody had to make up anything.
Yeah,
I understand. I wish that
labor
would be-
labor laws
Yeah, I got you.
force us, we have to do that.
Alright.
Because when audit comes in, that's one thing they check. making sure that we followed all labor laws.
Yep.
And so if you looked at the calendar that was linked in tonight, let me take the screen back, which is the other computer. You'll see that we're scheduling 6.5 hours per day next year, which will allow us to have 1,121.4 hours. So that's basically almost 9.5 days that we have at our discretion next year. And so, for instance, we're scheduled to host district volleyball tournament. And that first day of the tournament in October, we'll probably have to take a couple of hours to clear the parking lots so that we can park all of those teams. So that's a couple of hours that we would give up, but we have the flexibility to do that. And having that flexibility to start 2 hours late and not be concerned about where we're gonna make that up was pretty much a blessing
Yes.
last week.
Sounds like this alternative that we chose was a great idea.
Yeah.
Whoever chose it.
Yeah, we're Good job, you. You know, the board has always asked us to do 178
Yes.
student days.
Yeah.
But this calendar still gets us the instructional time required by law, even if we end up below the 178. So we're not trying to do fewer than 178. I know
Right.
some local schools have adopted an alternative calendar that for next year, and they're doing 174 student days. So they're giving the kids more days off. They're still scheduling 178 student days.
So, just so you can, if the public's watching, I don't know if anybody's watching or not, but, these questions come up. Okay, so next year we have 9 extra days, and we don't have any snow days.
We're still going 178, that's what the calendar states.
Okay. And then on, say we did have another couple of days, would there be a way to make those up without adding to the end of the year?
That would be our first plan to do when we start talking about that. You're gonna have to take maybe some days off out, and you know that we'll have to come back to school. We have a 4-day week, or, I mean.
Because I know like this week you got,
Yes.
Thursday, Friday, Monday.
Mhm. So things like that, we'll have to really examine our calendar and try to pull back in. And also, the state allows you to add minutes to your day
Mhm.
when you're out to help recoup some of that.
So we could recoup it like with Wednesdays or
Mhm.
adding some little bit of time, okay?
Yes, sir.
So the alternative calendar gives us like the ultimate flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah. I
So,
like it.
because now we're talking hours rather than days.
Yes. I actually like the alternate calendar rather than the old AMI days.
Oh, yeah.
So I do like this.
Yeah. How many, going back to our classified staff, how many classified staff do we have? What was the number?
The, yeah, just one second. So we have 53 classified employees total.
And they missed how many days? 6?
6. They're on, most of them are on a 183-day schedule. Not all of them, but the vast majority
Yes.
are 183, so they work 5 days more than the kids come. So,
Things like that, or, you know, help check.
You read my mind or something?
Mhm, I know.
You read my mind?
We had a big meeting, an admin meeting this morning, and that was the main topic, and what we were talking about, how we can take care of these people.
Anyone else? Or still, you got anything else?
I'm good, thank you.
Mark?
Each one, I do each one of them, right? Separate?
no, you got it.
Okay.
You can do the resignations.
All right. Motion to accept the letter of resignation from the following for the corresponding position. Jessica Green Oyoung, middle school teacher and junior beta co-sponsor, effective March 20th, 2026. Ashley Smiley, elementary interventionist, effective end of the 25-26 school year.
So, motion to accept the letter of resignation for the following corresponding positions: Jessica Green O'Young, middle school teacher and junior high beta co-sponsor, effective March 20th, 2026. Ashley Smiley, elementary interventionist, effective end of 25-26 school year. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed.
Retirement of Michael Carey, I forgot the first. Nikki Landry, special education teacher, end of the 25-26 school
We're
year.
gonna do that one separate.
Michael Carey, middle school teacher, end of the school year. Kimberly Sherrill, high school teacher, end of the 25-26 school year. And Jay Shapiro, bus driver, end of the 25-26 school year.
All right.
Do we need to go to executive
That's
session?
what I was wondering. Do y'all want to go to executive session?
I'm good.
Everybody's over there like, come on.
She's not watching.
I bet she'll go back and watch.
Oh, I'm sure she will.
All right, retirements: Nikki Landry, special education teacher, end of 25-26 school year. Michael Carey, middle school teacher, end of 25-26 school year. Kimberly Sherrill, high school teacher, end of 25-26 school year. Jay Shapiro, bus driver, end of 25-26 school year. All in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed, and I would like to say congratulations to y'all's retirement.
Enjoy it.
All right. We got a
All
couple
these together,
recommendations.
too?
Yeah, you've got
All
three
these?
motions.
Three different ones? Okay. Motion to hire Asa Chapman as sports medicine classroom teacher, athletic trainer for the upcoming 26-27 school year.
Motion to hire Asa Chapman as sports medicine classroom teacher, athletic trainer for the upcoming 26-27 school year. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Motion to hire the attached list of 240-day employees for the corresponding positions for the 26-27 school year.
Motion to hire the attached list of 240-day employees for the corresponding positions for the 26-27 school year. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Motion to hire the attached list of certified staff for the corresponding positions for the 26-27 school year.
Motion to hire the attached list of certified staff for corresponding positions for the 26-27 school year. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I would, one more thing that I should have said, but Cody, we got a tournament going on.
Yes, sir.
Besides tomorrow night's big game.
Yes, sir. We got a busy week. Got to make up all those basketball games for all those snow dates, but we do. We have junior high district going on right now. Our boys and girls will play, I think, 540 and 650, so they're coming right up, and we hope they make it to the championship.
When does that finish?
It finishes Thursday is the finals. So if you're at parent teacher conference, slide on over and hopefully watch our girls and boys play the finals.
If no one's got anything else, then we're adjourned.